The March of the Living brings students and Holocaust survivors from all over the world to Auschwitz-Birkenau to commemorate Holocaust Remembrance Day. In addition to the mind-numbing atrocities that took place during the Holocaust, students on the March of the Living are exposed to another side of humanity. They learn about the righteous among the nations, those who risked and sometimes even gave their lives to save Jews. Why must this other side of the story be told? So that the Holocaust does not cause students to give up completely on humanity. So that these courageous people who resisted can serve as role models in their own lives.
My father was always prepared to help people, so was my mother, and not being afraid of saying, if you believe in a certain thing, to say and stick to it.
My mother encouraged us always to help, no matter what. She taught us the Ten Commandments, what's right and what's wrong.
You didn't think about to say no. No, there were all human beings, you had to help them.
To był po prostu odruch, no trzeba było przecież, nie trzeba jego ratować.
I'm standing here in front of a stone that is dedicated to my destroyed community. Out of 7,000 Jews from my hometown, only 1%, 70, survived the war. I think of normal school reunions. The only reunion that I can have is right here. So today, actually, I'm commemorating the reunion. His name is Zygmunt Krinsky. The parents were very, very religious Catholics. Maybe they understood that you have to be kind to people, and they said yes. Okay, well, this is the house. Idzie pani Kryńska.
Ja się przepraszam, kochani.
Zygmunt. Pamiętasz mego syna? Mój syn. That's Zygmunt. Our meeting was very emotional. We hugged and we kissed and we cried.
Talk. Huh?
He only whispers, he doesn't talk.
Syn.
He had his vocal cords removed
No.
because of cancer.
A? Te budynki, jakie jest stary? To jest nowy czy nie? To stary, tak? Okay. Yes. Yeah. In this barn, we had 3 different hiding places, and we probably spent around 5-6 months here. We had one on this side, and then we switched on the other side, and we were on this side. And then we had built a little bunker underneath here with an entrance that we had to crawl in where the hay was. We saw no daylight, no sunshine. We were in total darkness. It feels unreal. And this actually couldn't have happened to me, could it?
Being here with my dad for the first time, it was something I'll never forget.
Impossible. It was in another lifetime. Thanks to Zygmunt, who got us out of the forest. Pamiętasz ten las? A? Gdzie to ten las? And I got out of that hole on a sunny, summery day. I was blinded by the sun. I haven't seen sun for all that period of time.
We had 2 or 3 Jewish families in our city, and I was going to school with one of the Jews, and we were very good friends, and so was my sister.
I did not have any Jewish friends before the war, at least as far as I know. I did not experience someone as Jewish or not Jewish, because the difference was not too great in Holland.
I did not know the word anti-Semitism. I learned that during the war and after the war.
There were our peoples, you know, whose there was no difference between us.
When did you find out that they were Jewish?
During the war.
My name is Eva Cooper. I'm a child survivor. I now live in Canada, but I was saved in Poland by a woman who was a nun, whose last years of her life were spent here in Laski, which is just south of Warsaw. My first visit here was in 2005, when I accidentally, through several miracles, found again my rescuer, whom I knew nothing about. I didn't know her name, I didn't know her order. Her name was Sister Klara Jaroszinska. She was blind for the last 10 years of her life. She lived in this house. And when I met her, I didn't remember her at all. When she came out of the house and they told her that I was there, she opened her arms to me and I ran into her arms. And I hugged her and I held her and she held me and we cried and we shared memories. And she said that God had brought me back to her.
My mother, Fela, and I, then 2 years old, are among the hundreds of helpless, starving, terrified people being rounded up and herded to Umschlagplatz, where the train tracks border the ghetto. My mother's cousin, Regina Banker, who works as a slave in the prison of the ghetto, arrives at the loading platform just in time to see my mother, holding me in her arms, being forced into one of the packed cattle cars. Regina rushes to the cattle car, into which we are disappearing, screaming that I am her child and that my mother is only minding me. Unbelievably, miraculously, my mother is permitted to pass me hand to hand, until I am literally thrown off the train into Regina's arms. The doors of the cattle car slam shut, and eventually that train pulls away. My mother and countless others are never heard from again. At Treblinka, they are murdered within 1 hour of their arrival. I was very young when I last saw her. She recalled that when she met me, that I wrapped my small arms around her legs and looking up at her pleaded, "Please pick me up." She fell in love with me, so much so that she felt compelled to risk her life and the lives of all the other children and nuns in her care. This amazing woman and the precious 2 gifts she had given me. The gift of life, but also equally important, the gift of love.
Imagine that it is 1942 in the Warsaw Ghetto, where life has become unbearable. Many of you visited today.
I am forever grateful to Sister Clara and to the many others who somehow found the courage and the moral fortitude to choose to do the impossible, to risk all that they held dear, their very lives and the lives of their dear ones, for the sake of helping one child survive. Such people restore our faith in man's goodness.
When someone was caught helping Jews, they would say, all right, you belong to them and you go together with them in the train.
There were signs saying that the town is Jew-free, and whoever will help escape Jew, the sentence is death. There were signs on every street corner the Gestapo posted.
Właściwie to miało być 6 osób tylko, ale adres to mieli ich znajomi. I tym sposobem zrobiło się, że kto do nas przyszedł z narodowości żydowskiej, ich znajomi, treflerów, i dlatego uskładało się aż tyle osób, 14. A od nas już kto przyszedł, to już nie odszedł, bo już nie mógł wyjść.
Tutaj to są wspomnienia, takie, do których bym nigdy w życiu nie chciała wracać, żeby nigdy to na świecie się nie stało. W życiu nie pomyślałabym przez moment, że ja tu przyjadę, to znaczy po wojnie, że już każdy tam rozszedł się po swoich, na swoje, jak to się mówi, każdy poszedł już na swoje śmiecie. Do tego się mówi, oby nigdy takie dnie nie nastąpiły. Nigdy. Zarazem szczęśliwa. Przecież ja nie płaczę z żalu, bo to nie jest, bo to z żalu się inaczej płacze, a to jest z takiej niewiedzy. Wszystko dla mnie takie ja wiem, bajkowe, nieprawdopodobne to, co się dzieje. Nie przypuszczałam nawet. że jeszcze się z Olą spotkam tu, za żywota, a nie tam. Jeszcześmy się spotkały na tym świecie, a nie na tamtym. To dobrze, wiesz? Ja nie płaczę z żalu. Ja z żalu nie płaczę.
Płaczę z radości.
Tak, wnuczki i prawnuczki, tak, Ola?
Prawnuczki.
O Boże, prawnuczka, tak? To ja nie wiedziałam, że ja takie grono spotkam wielkie. No to zawsze o tobie babcia mówiła, wiesz, że jesteś urwis podobno, rozrabiaka, prawda to?
Dzięki tobie wszyscy jesteśmy przy życiu.
Ale trochę więcej ludzi takich jak ja jest, wiesz, nie są wszyscy tacy jak ja, ale... bo on nie rozumie po polsku. No.
Sława, kiedy był ostatni raz, żeście się spotkali?
Kiedy myśmy się... Oj, dawno.
Kiedy to było?
Jak byłyśmy piękne i młode. Powiedz, gdzie te nasze młode lata są? Powiedz im, nie? Gdzie one poszły? Hitler nam zabrał młode lata.
No, Hitler zabrał.
Dwie stare kwoczki. Ty taka elegancka jesteś, a ja widzisz, taka Kaśka.
Nie elegancka, bardzo elegancka.
Taki biedny upominek też ci przywiozłam. To są rzeczne perełki. To jest ten pokój. I w tym pokoju było 14 osób.
14 osób.
Jak była kontrola niemiecka, to tego pokoju w ogóle nie było.
Oni ryzykowali sami.
Tak?
Oni ryzykowali.
Oby te czasy nigdy nie wróciły, bo to się jak opowiada, to nie wiem nawet czy wy młodzi zdajecie sobie 1 sekundę. Ja do ciebie przyszłam z serduszkiem.
Ja.
Właściwie to byli rodzice, bo ja miałam wtedy 16 lat, więc za wiele to nie było tak.
She was just 16 and her parents at that time saved their lives.
You speak about heroism. They risked not only their life or her life, but the life of the children. There was Jan and Anna and 5 children, 3 grown-ups my age, and 2 very little ones. And it's not for 5 minutes. It was for 17 months, 24 hours a day. Those people were poor, really poor. They did it. For years, they were very careful not to say that they were saving Jews because they were afraid about being ostracized by the neighbors. And I recall an incident. I was once invited for a lecture to Moscow. This was in the 70s. And on the way back, I stopped in Warsaw. So they came to see me. We arranged that so they see me. And I saw them the first time. The old lady and her husband were dead already, but the children were there. And the husband of one of the children came first to see me. And he started to cry. I say, what is it? He said, can you imagine that I didn't know for all the years that the family was hiding Jews? My own wife wouldn't tell me. She was afraid. I learned it only recently, and I know that they saved you. So scared they were. But the situation changed completely now. They were recognized by Yad Vashem. A tree was planted in their name. It's a big olive tree today. Had a big ceremony there.
I am a Holocaust survivor from Grodno, Poland, now Belarus. Out of a city of 29,000 Jews, only about 100 survived the Shoah. My uncle Sender and I were the only survivors of a family. A part of my family has been murdered right here, near Birkenau, Auschwitz, and a part in Treblinka. I survived the Shoah thanks to the Puchalski family, a Polish Catholic family who risked their lives for me. The Puchalskis are here with us today. They should be applauded.
Since my first experience on the March of the Living over 30 years ago, the most poignant moment for me, the most touching moment, that day in 2008, and then he said, we should applaud her. And all the people standing there, all the people attending indeed applauded her, but not just once. It came in waves. The applause began, then it died down a bit, and then it rose up again. Time after time, just as the applause was dying down, it again rose. A number of times, it was as if the people there did not want to let go of that moment, that beautiful moment of hope, of humanity, of kindness. And that's when I realized so plainly how important it was on the March of the Living to always give people hope, to always introduce our students to one of those righteous among the nations, to understand that even the darkest of times, amidst all the terrible horrors visited by Nazi Germany on the Jewish people and others, there are still people who give us reason never to give up hope in humanity. That's what I learned from that moment with Felix Zandman on the 2008 March of the Living.